Hello again. I forgot to bring my beer up here last month, which was probably when that won. Yeah, for real. I also have nickels taped to my nipples at the moment. But that's neither here or there. When I was thinking about what I would tell you tonight, I started thinking, obviously, about our theme, guilty pleasures, and I started realizing I don't have any of those. And it's not because I don't like pleasure. I mean, we're all adults here, right? I mean, I like sex a lot. I like food, I like beer, I like liquor, I like flirting, I like the whole thing. But I don't feel guilty about any of it. I feel quite comfortable with all of it. And so I started thinking about people I know and other guilty pleasures, and then I realized there's this moment that I can point to in my life, like a lot of moments, and I don't know if you guys live this way, but I can point to a number of moments in my life where I say, oh, I learned, that lesson or this lesson at this time. And I thought, that's the perfect story. I've got to tell that story. And it's a story about my grandfather, who is going to be 85 years old this year. He's my hero, my idol. And he is, for all intents and purposes, the bravest and the most joyous spirit I've ever met in my life. And I think a lot of people who have met him would say the same. He was born October 19th, 1930. And when he was 10 years old, he suffered the first of many health and or injury issues that he's had in his 85 years. He was walking to school with some chums, and as was common in the day, they had to cross a railroad yard, and they decided to take a shortcut and sneak under a train. Well, while they were doing that, a boxcar shifted and crushed his foot. I talked to him yesterday, actually, and he's having a surgery coming up here in about 3 weeks to solve an infection on the scar left from this injury in 1940. And later on, he would discover that he's diabetic, which anybody who's diabetic knows as you age, it'll be even further problems for your feet. So he was never able to be athletic, and as a result, grew up in a situation where he was overweight. He was quite big most of his life, and last fall he suffered his. I'm really bringing it down. So sorry. I hope you took your meds. Last fall, he suffered his third fairly serious heart attack. Well, all of this I tell you to provide background to this moment in which he taught me that if something makes you happy, you owe it to yourself, because life is fucking hard enough to not make yourself feel guilty about it. And as I thought about guilty pleasures, I thought, Jesus Christ, I love Justin Timberlake more than any man alive. I just said his name and I have a huge boner. But the truth is that I don't think life is long enough for you to have a whole lot of guilt about the things that you enjoy. And I'm going to tell you this very short story and then I'll be done about my grandfather. When it was about 15 years ago that he had his second heart attack. And let me tell you very quickly, when I was 8 years old, my parents split up, yada, 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 the 80s, divorce, Pope John Paul, the whole thing. But my grandfather very quickly and very effectively became my sole father figure, and he taught me a lot of things, how to choose a career that I really loved, and I work in the restaurant industry to this day. how to value family and to be loyal. And this is a lesson that he taught me as well. It was probably about 2 weeks after he had open heart surgery after his second heart attack, and he had a quadruple bypass in which they cleared and repaired out the arteries in his heart. I walked into his house on a random caretaking visit, and he was sitting at the dining room table in front of a box of 12 hot glazed Krispy Kreme donuts. And I said, "What the hell are you doing? We almost lost you less than 14 days ago." And he said to me, "Everything in my chest is brand new." I can't possibly live long enough to fuck this up. It was in that moment that I realized I was never gonna feel bad about getting drunk again.